Good morning. We're here on Ask a Lawman. I'm Austin.
And I'm Zach.
We're here starring with the famous Mr. Batson and Nick Hanna. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey guys, I don't know why I'm saying good morning. It's 9:30 at night, but hello.
Good to be here.
So on our podcast today, we're going to be asking questions about economics. So we're going to head towards an academic approach on our podcast this week. So our first question to start off with is, what is your opinion on the GDP of our country compared to Russia?
You want this one?
Pass. This is Mr. Batson.
All right.
Actually, no, Nick, go ahead. As a teacher, I think you could take this.
So
this is an easy one. I think.
As an American, I'm obviously proud of the fact that we have a gross domestic product much greater than that of Russia, because
if I may add for a minute, Nick, the gross domestic product for our first-time listeners, hopefully first-time callers, the phones are open, waiting on lines 1 through 4, is the gross domestic product. That's the total value of goods and services across a nation or country, or you could even say city-state if we were going to take it back a couple hundred years before we really had defined countries.
Nation-state.
But Nick, I've never taught you in class. I'm looking forward to your answer. I just wanted to interject for a minute there.
Well, I think we covered that one pretty well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said. Next question.
Russia.
What do you think interest rates are?
What do I think they are?
Yep.
You can take this one.
Zach, that's a very poorly asked question. I mean, we can tell you what interest rates are, but is there anything more specific you would like to know about interest rates? Was there a third grade or in your class on like shadow a student? Because that question is terrible. So what would you like to
define interest rates?
So you grabbed Nick and I here to define interest rates. Nick, it's an easy one.
Are we Google?
Yeah.
Google definition.
Interest rates are what it costs to borrow money. I mean, we have somebody here with 3 college degrees, and you're asking questions like this. Nick,
it's absurd.
Nick, I kind of think we should just go get an ice cream together.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, they can just
I
say,
think we should head out.
You know, ask a 4th grade textbook.
I'm enraged.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
All right. Next question.
I mean, for our smarter listeners who haven't tuned out because of this terrible question, the higher smarter listeners know this. Smarter listeners, pause for a minute. Interest rates, the higher it is, the more expensive it is to borrow money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that will get a credit card or a car loan, and your car is $10,000, interest rates are really high. Now, I'm paying $15,000. Maybe they should ask about the Federal Reserve raising the interest rates, or what we think the interest rates will be, or why they've been so historically low for the first time in our country. I mean, those would have been good questions, Nick. Don't you agree?
Those would have been a lot better than a definition.
I think I'll take the next question, Nick. Nick, what do you think about our current economic practices?
As far as spending?
Of course. Yeah.
Well, we are at a pretty high. We're pretty far along. We spend a lot more than we used to. Back in under Obama.
I thought for a minute you were referring to Mrs. Batson because she spends like we are a country with a large GDP.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question.
Do you think mortgage interest rates are increasing or decreasing, and by how much?
Well, after the whole crisis in 2008, with the whole subprime mortgage interest rates skyrocketing and people having to default on loans, they've gone down since then. But obviously, with inflation and things, they're back on their way up. I wouldn't say it's absurd. I wouldn't say it's a crisis, but
who asked that question? That one's a very good question. That blows the socks off that other what is interest rates?
What do you think interest
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Can I ask who wrote that? Was that one of our callers online too, or?
That was from period 4 economics.
Shout out to period 4 economics. Is this an AP class? It sounds like.
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Period 4. I will be in there to give you a reward for that question. It's a tremendous question. Period 4. You can ask your parents about those interest rates, or your grandparents. In the 80s, they were double digits for houses, which was obscene. So compared to the 80s or even 70s, we are still at tremendous lows. But I thought Nick did a great job answering that. Nick, are you the leader of period 4? With that answer?
I've only been in period 4 economics class once.
It was great. Good question. Great answer.
All right, next question. There are a few kinds of mortgage loans. What are they called?
Nick, I'm going to speak for both of us here. I would prefer more opinion questions to tackle our area.
I
of
don't think
expertise.
I don't think you could ask. I don't think this is worth our time. I think you could ask anyone else.
It's
this
like
question.
trivia. Okay, guys, who's the 8th president? But
Yeah.
we will humor you because we actually feel bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a number of different mortgages. You have your traditional 30-year fixed. That's the one that most Americans know about. You can have a 20-year. You can have a 15-year. Sometimes you have to pay points. That's the equivalent of about 1% interest on your loan. The point would lower your interest rate by about 1/8, or that's 12.5% for you non-period 4 economics people. You have your 5-year, you have your ARM, your adjustable rate mortgage, you have your balloon mortgage, your jumbo mortgage, and a whole different set of combinations and permutations of those. You can refinance, you can have a first mortgage, a second mortgage. So in the future, for these types of questions, you can just go to Google, type in the lower end.
Very, very good, Mr. Batson.
That was well done.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
So, next question. How is GDP calculated?
It's the total value of goods exported from the country.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is pretty good.
It's based mostly on population, but it's an important fact to state that California has a higher GDP than a few European nations. So
Boom.
That's why we're the best country in the world.
Substantial.
Mm-hmm.
That was a substantial answer, and I enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you.
Next question.
Question for you guys. Do most of your visitors or guests lean into the microphone? 'Cause I feel like I have to do that.
No, you don't have to lean in.
You're good.
Okay.
You'll be able to hear perfectly. It'll be really loud if you lean in. Kind of.
It's a good microphone.
Yeah.
Listen to our previous podcast, you'll find out.
We're big fans. Nick and I,
Yeah.
we listen to those
Mhm.
twice a week together.
Doug Tancredi was your last guest, obviously.
Yeah, we appreciate
It's an honor to
yours.
be here. Honor.
We call him Dougie Fresh, but
Shout out Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh and Period 4. Hope you're still listening.
Nice.
Callers, the phone lines are open.
So next question is, what is the GDP per capita?
That's just GDP per 1,000 people. You could look this stuff up, honestly.
Yeah, guys, come on.
This isn't worth our time.
That's Period 3's question, I'm sure. We don't think that's Period 4's question.
So, next question. What is the GDP per capita for the U.S. and Russia in 2017?
The U.S. has to be like 222 million, right?
Per capita?
Per capita.
Hey Siri, what is the GDP per capita between Russia and the U.S. or for Russia and the U.S.? Callers, hang on to the phone. We'll get that answer to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one.
The answer is United States was 59,501.
United States 59,501. This is coming through Ask Siri. We had poor cell phone service here at Jonathan Law High School. We were not connected to the Wi-Fi.
And Russia was 10,598.
So we obviously are 5 times better than Russia. Bottom line, 6 almost.
Essentially.
Yeah.
USA.
Mm-hmm.
all day.
That's why we won the Cold War.
So that includes our podcast for the day. Thank you for coming out and being stars on our show. Hope we see you in future weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
This was a true pleasure for most of the questions.